We are back, and I just finished watching the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I have to say this episode alone was, on a scale of 1 to 10, a solid 10. I think episode 3, episode 5, and episode 6 are now out of the 6 episodes. 3 I just absolutely had a great time with, and 3 was a lot of world building storytelling, and we're kind of slow, so the show is like a 50-50 for me as a whole. But this one episode, the season finale, and I'm gonna do a couple of spoilers here. I'll try not to spoil too much, but it just really, the acting from Ewan McGregor was just phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. It was nice to see that they finally brought Aunt Beru into the fold, and gave her something really cool to do. Uncle Owen was great in it. The stuff that they did with Luke Skywalker wasn't so jarring or off-putting that it could ruin canon, which is what I thought was great. He kind of was unconscious for a lot of this stuff that had happened because he had gotten hurt. Reva's character, finally, her arc was finished and completed. So it was to be expected exactly how that was probably going to go down. I actually thought she was going to walk like into the canyons after Luke, because there was some foreshadowing, what I thought earlier, when Uncle Owen had told Luke, stay away from the dunes because the Sand people are out there. And so I thought when they said that at the beginning of the show, that something was going to go down and the Sand people were going to, come up and kill people or do something. And so then when Reva started walking out into the desert trying to find Luke, when he ran off into the rocks, I thought for sure when she got into the canyon, all the Sand people were going to just pounce on her and kill her. But that didn't happen. It would have been great, though, if it did, only because it would have shown the Sand people again. Like, we've gotten these pieces because they're separate tribes. We've gotten these little pieces from the Book of Boba Fett and stuff like that about the Sand people. It would have been really cool to see them go in that direction with it. So then, when A New Hope rolls around, you kind of do fear the Sand people again, and you don't sympathize with them. The stuff with Princess Leia was very emotional. It was very good. Everything that Obi-Wan said to her, not giving things away, blah, 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 blah. This one beautiful moment where she was like, am I ever going to see you again? And he said, maybe when I'm, an old man, and then you're like, wow, that's the one shot in A New Hope where he finally saw her for the first time when he looked over and he's fighting Vader, Alec Guinness. And so, very nice stuff. We got our hello there moment finally, and it was such a beautiful spot to place it in. I thought that was good. The fight between Obi-Wan and Vader was great. I really thought they were going to leave it where Obi-Wan was buried in the rocks, because then, I thought, well, then Vader just assumes that he's dead and leaves the planet. And so then it is a surprise when he feels his presence again in the 77 New Hope film. But the way they did it with the like Ahsoka Tano fight with the split mask and seeing Anakin for the first time, and all that stuff, and how he talked to him, and he, I'm sorry. When Ewan was tearing up saying, I'm sorry, for what he did, and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, I had a lump in my throat and my eyes were filling up too, man. I was like, oh my God, this is such a powerful moment. And then, for the hatred to still come through, obviously it's Darth Vader. He's not going to take any of this lying down. And I loved seeing his shuttle craft, land on the surface. They did a great job with that. Darth Vader's ship. And I enjoyed this episode overall. It really showed, especially the power of Obi-Wan when all the rocks lifted up, much like Rey in The Last Jedi at the end of the film there. And so you're like, okay, he's at max power at this point, and that's why he was able to defeat Obi-Wan. But once again, or defeat Vader. But once again, with Vader, it's that he lets his rage and all this other kind of stuff blind him, no matter how bad it gets, like, or how, how good Darth Vader thinks it's going. You can always kind of foil him. But I do feel like they should have left it where Darth Vader just assumed he was dead. Maybe he fell down a canyon or something like that to just show that he's just, this whole thing's a mystery. But if they're going to have another fight again and they bring back Kenobi again, I don't know if they should. I think at this point, I think it's perfect the way it ended. I was hoping for when Obi-Wan goes off into the desert, on that creature, that Luke would walk up to him, Uncle Owen, and say, who was that? And he would say, he's just a crazy old man. I mean, I thought that was the moment that needed to happen, but it didn't. And that's fine. Yeah, I just, and again, because if Luke doesn't see Obi-Wan Kenobi again for another 10 years, if he's, or 9 years, it would make sense when he wakes up, from when the Tusken Raiders beat him up, and he first sees Obi-Wan again for the first time, he goes, Ben? With this look like, is that you? Because I haven't seen you in almost a decade. So, yeah, I think they played all those notes perfectly. Again, it's like, I just wish the series as a whole, they had really tightened it up a little bit. I say again, I say this, I said it in my last video, if they made this a 2-hour movie and just tightened it up and cut out a lot of the stuff that dragged, this would have been just a solid Star Wars film, if it went straight to Disney Plus, I still, O'Shea Jackson, I like, when Obi-Wan had said to him, you're a great leader, people will follow you, don't give up, keep doing what you're doing. And then he said, the best is yet to come, or something to that. I don't remember the line, but something to that, like, I'm not going anywhere, and I thought, oh, good, maybe he'll show up in Andor, because that was something that I feel like he didn't get utilized enough in this, and I wanted to see more of him because I know he's a strong actor, and so that was something that I was really excited about, that line, because that just teased us. As far as Reva goes, I was happy to see her arc finished, but we still did not get any explanation how she survived 2 lightsabers to the stomach, one as a youngling and one, by Vader. And for me, I just kind of was like, we needed something. I don't care if it was, she lifts up her shirt and she's got, robotics in there, that had repaired her the first time. And all Vader did was just go through the robotics, like, we needed something. I mean, because, surviving that, is just how did she survive that? We didn't get an explanation like with the Inquisitor. We know he has got 2 stomachs, so we know he could get stuck once. Maybe my only issue with some of it in general is, like, the lightsabers in this particular series. I mean, even when Obi-Wan was freeing Leia and he's hitting the stormtroopers with the lightsabers, they should have kind of sliced right through them, but they kind of bounced, and he'd almost do a double tap on the stormtroopers. And is the armor really that strong? I mean, if they could take a laser blast, I thought you could slice through that armor like butter. So I feel like there's certain little things. And again, like, I mean, this show is never going to satisfy everyone, but the dynamic between Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi and their story, like, that's all I cared about. Like, I understand the Reva had her thing and everything going on with and they just had to have a B story going on in there, along with the A story to break it up a little bit. But I didn't need that. Like, it could have just literally been Anakin and Vader the whole time, because those scenes are the scenes that made the show for me, which is all I really wanted as a fan. Not to say that we don't, other people didn't appreciate it. I appreciated all of it, but I didn't need the sub story. I needed Anakin and Vader the whole time. And so, I mean, I guess Reva can now go off into the desert like Boba Fett did and now become a good guy. I think that's one of the other things that just kind of frustrated me about the show. She should have almost been killed or been wounded and it'd be mortal or mortally wounded and stuff towards the end of this one, because for some reason, you know, once you come back to the light side, you're kind of forgiven for being a mass murderer, killing all these other Jedis, leading the Inquisitors to go kill other Jedis. It's kind of the same thing with Ben Skywalker when he turned back. It's like, dude, Kylo Ren was just murdering people all across the galaxy. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, no, you're okay now. You know, you're our friend. You're helping us out, you know, to kill the Emperor. You know, you're redeemed. You know, I had that problem with Bad Boys for Life, where, you know, Will Smith's kid, that he didn't know he had been killing all these people with this drug cartel, and he even kills, you know, Joey Pantaleone, and which is Will Smith's captain that was in all the other movies. He's dead. But then all at the end, they're like, well, we got a pardon for you if you'll come join our team. It's like same thing they did with Jason Statham in the Fast and Furious things. He comes on in the one movie and he's killing all these good guys, all the FBI's, all the, you know, all the CIA people. He's just killing people left and right. And then, oh, okay, now it's time to just team up with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and we're going to forgive all the mass murdering you did. And you're a good guy now. So I think like that is always one of these weird things that Hollywood seems to be doing, is like they give these guys that are mass murderers a pass, you know? And that goes for Reva's character. She gets a pass for killing all these people because her intentions were kind of pure, because she was really going after Vader, but to get to Vader, she had to kill all these Jedi or round them up and help the Inquisitors encase them in frozen suspension and kill them. I mean, it's just, it's a hard plot line to swallow. And again, that goes to Fast and Furious. That goes to, it's a lot of filmmakers and storytellers are doing this very thing, where these characters who are not redeemable get redeemed and everything's forgiven at the end of the movie or the end of the show. It's just, it doesn't work for me as a storyteller and as someone who consumes films and TV. It just, that narrative doesn't work. You know, they go to jail, they're done, or they die. You know, you can, it's almost like Vader dying in Return of the Jedi. Yes, he was bad. Yes, he did, but he saved his son, and he's never going to be forgiven for everything he did in the galaxy, but he dies, you know? So, okay. I loved Qui-Gon at the end of the episode. You know, I loved, you know, hey, you finally appear to me. And he's like, yeah, well, you weren't ready yet. Come on, we got a long way to go. And that kind of set up, okay, well, if there's more adventures and he's got to train Obi-Wan on how to be one with the Force and all that kind of stuff, that's great. You know, I do feel the fake beard that I know this is nitpicky, but the fake beard that Qui-Gon had was a little thick. Didn't really look like the Phantom Menace, and they could have thinned that out a little bit, I think. But I think if he grew it naturally in some capacity, that would have been the tell that they had brought him back for the show. But the fake beard was a little, yeah. I mean, he literally has like one line and that's it. So, but it was good. It was a nice, lighthearted moment at the end. I think they wrapped up everything beautifully, and so that's it. As a series, as a whole, I'll give it, I mean, I'm going to have to go 50-50 on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll give it a 5 because 3 episodes were, and 3 episodes were dynamite. So, that's my take on it. And, this show is rewatchable, now that I've seen all of it. Unlike the Book of Boba Fett, I probably won't go back and watch that again. You know, there wasn't anything that made me want to go, oh, I got to watch this again. And that's the key for a lot of this content or that's being created, is like the rewatchability for me. So the Kenobi series, I will probably watch it now that it's all completed. I can binge it, and I bet it'll feel a lot smoother once I binge it. So that's it. That's my thoughts. What did you guys think of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the season finale? Let's talk about it in the comments section. See you on the next one.